Hey guys, welcome to the Money Mindset. Today, the guest on my show is Samir Arora of Helios Capital. Finally, we've caught him. He's here in Bombay and he's on the podcast. Samir, thank you so much for being here.
No, good to be here. You've been trying for so long, and I've been also trying to come on your show for so long. Chalo, finally it has worked.
Finally, it has worked. But what brings you to Bombay? You're here quite often, right?
I come every month or maybe maximum. I do at least 10 trips a year, but my job is India related. All my investments has an FII, plus we have this mutual fund business now. So I'm only living in Singapore. The work is all here, and the heart is also X% here. I shouldn't say too much, otherwise the Singapore guys will say.
Your heart is here, your work is here.
No, I don't want to say 100% heart, otherwise the Singapore guys.
But then you should move here. At some point, you should move here also.
It's okay. Singapore is the nicest Indian city, so it's okay.
No, the nicest Indian city is Dubai.
Could be. But Singapore is also good.
But this time, you're also here because of the mutual fund business has been doing really well. So congratulations on that. In the last, 2.5, 3 years, the business has taken off?
Not 3 yet. We started in November 23.
November 23, okay. And since then, the large cap, the flexi cap fund, all of that has done pretty
All
well.
of them have done well. Actually, we used to do well before also, but you were not seeing that. So now...
I think when you're in the mutual fund business, it becomes a little more front and
visible.
center.
It becomes more visible because everything is public. Yeah.
For retail also, right?
Of course.
So how are you feeling about the market? I know this is a question, and I saw your, interaction a few days ago also with some of the TV channels. I heard you say that, people just find reasons to be upset.
That is my new theory. Because I read books, so I find new theories to fit my books. So if you want, I can quickly repeat that. Broadly, the thing is that that book, which is called Halo Effect, is basically saying that the narrative is fitted to fit the outcome. So, for example, let us say not about market. Suppose me. So, suppose my performance is good, which actually it is, guys. But suppose it is good. Now you have to fit it. That why is it good? So you'll say, you see, he's very experienced. He first worked in a global company. Then he's worked in an Indian company. He understands X, he's FI. So this story will be made. Now, he's saying that is a wrong way of fitting the story, because then you have to see everybody who worked in a global company and everybody who also worked in an Indian company and everybody who was an FII. And then if it works, then that is a story. Otherwise, you have retrofitted the story. So stocks mein kya hota hai ki if a stock is doing well, now the public has to say, why is it doing well? Commentators have to say, you have to say, press has to say. So they'll say it has great management. Nobody knows whether it is great management or not, or they were just lucky. But because visibly you can see the stocks doing well, so it must be that everything is good. And same thing in reverse. Any stock which is down 30, 40, 50%, nobody calls it good management. Like these days, they don't even call IT good management. How? Now they don't know what excuse to give. So they'll say they did not invest in new businesses, but you have to find a reason why the price is down.
Like they say, narratives follow market.
Yeah. So that's basically. So now what I say is that all the reasons given for why the Indian market is down are not independent reasons. These are reasons to fit the fact that our market is down. So for example, the roads are not been well made. In monsoon, rain came and it made those whatever.
वो तो सही बात है.
But I'm saying that was there for 20 years also when the market was doing well. Suddenly they'll say the market became very expensive in 24 September. That you have seen? Maybe on your pod. So please ask them next time when they come. Or maybe you would never invite them again for giving you wrong information. But let us say in September 24, it was X% more expensive than it should have been. So that means a few months before, it was at that point. Suppose in September, suddenly now in hindsight, you see markets became overvalued in September 24. So the question should be about how much percent has it been? Did it become at that time? So let's say you say 20%. That means in that year only, because the market went up a lot, there was a 20% lower point. At that point, you should have said, now the market has become expensive. What people are saying is because the market has fallen from September 24. So it must be the case that in September 24 it had become expensive.
Too expensive.
That is what we mean.
But a lot of fund managers, etc., had alerted in advance.
No, in general, of course, in general, you can see when a market is going up a lot. But I'm saying not for any one individual, but broadly, for example, FIIs are finding valuations in India expensive. That is why they are staying away. The reality is that FIs have sold the largest 10, 15 companies of India, like the banks, IT companies, the ones where they had the maximum this thing, and they have bought every IPO, every QIP. They have expanded the number of companies in which they have more than 1% stake. They have massively increased their weight in high valuation companies like Eternal, like Paytm, like in all of these, which are from this report I was reading from ICICI report. So the point is, they have sold the stocks that were trading at 10-year averages or low, and they have bought the new. So according to me, they did not sell for valuations. They sold for lack of growth in those large companies, and they have bought excitement.
But sideways markets tend to frustrate investors a lot, especially retail investors, right? What do you think is the outcome? I mean, is this a sideways market that could go on for, say, years? Because we've seen that happen in the past as well. Or do you think that I know it's hard to time.
Where have you seen it? In India, you mean? In 90s, people talk. But 90s, because I was there, I think that is a wrong interpretation. In the 90s, what happened? When the liberalization happened, completely new businesses came, like IT, private banks and all these. Honda had got listed in, I think, late 80s or something. And the older companies, which were the Singhanias, the Modis and Grasim and all these of those days, were the older companies. And many of them were affected by the opening up. So the index never changed. But that was the time, that 93 to 2005, when my NAV went up some 11 times in one fund, because we were buying IT, and Z went up 100 times. Okay. And HDFC Bank and HDFC and all these stocks were doing very well. So there the thing is, the index was behind the times.
Even today, the index doesn't actually reflect a lot of the new businesses.
But now they're small. So now it is not so straightforward. There it was very easy to beat the index. Now, no, not that much, because now the new companies relative to the index sizes and all are very small. So it's not that big a difference, but it will always be. So then people talk about Japan. Japan में हुआ था 80s में, या 90 से कब से 90. That time it became so excessive that this story is well known, that the palace land under the imperial palace was valued at more than California's valuation. Ye story hai if you type on Google. Okay, so India has not become like that. It used to be 18p, now it become 20p. So we will not take that yet as such an extreme valuation that it will take 10 years to. And by the way, one more thing, it has already recovered. If you see from September 24, so we and others also maybe launched these mid-cap fund. We launched in March 25. So it is up 40% or 38% now. So you have not reached the previous peak. But suppose the market was a peak and it fell like this, and now it has started going like this. So it may not reach here, but यहाँ से तो शुरू हो गया ना, the move up.
So you're saying the worst जो March, April में था, the worst is kind of over.
Now, these days, these last 2 days, because Trump has again renewed the fight, that is the only angle that if it again becomes. But excluding that, for sure, because all the big things that were affecting India negatively. So what were they? Let's say big picture. One was, say that India does not have AI, was one reason, okay? So that also whoever had to play that AI trade has mostly played, and mostly it has not worked. It has only worked for companies who were feeding into the AI demand. That means what Anthropic and OpenAI and Google are spending, which on data centers and on their models, on what they are spending on bigger servers and maybe more complex servers, or they are on chips and on memory. So those guys have benefited. But the guys who are spending have not benefited. I mean, OpenAI and Anthropic छोड़ देते हैं, but all the large other guys have not benefited. Meta stock is down, I think, for a year. Microsoft, they have spent at least some part on AI, down for the year. Grok, has whatever money it has spent, mostly it has not worked. That is why they recently announced that they are going to lease their data center to Anthropic. And in fact, last week, was it that Meta announced that they also have overbuilt or committed to overbuild, so they are also leasing it out. So the stock went up.
But then there's the other side, right? The guys who supply to Nvidia hai, SK Hynix.
But Nvidia, by the way, this year the stock will be up maybe 5%. So abhi kya ho raha hai? Exactly. I'm saying so that I'm not saying they didn't do well, but I'm saying that AI का जो desperation था, that
वो
has
cool off हो
cool
गया
off हो गया. Also because of volatility in
हाँ.
Korea and all. So वो India का negative थोड़ा neutralize हो गया. And
हाँ.
also I argue that 200 countries हैं. Some 2.5 countries have some AI angle.
हाँ.
Correct? Say China, but Chinese market is down a lot. If you, I own Alibaba, they also have some model down. The stock is broadly down a lot. So वो हो गया. Then the next India का आप angle कह सकते हैं that Indian currency was very weak, and that for whatever reason, and that was making the FIIs hesitate. So वो भी because of these new steps, excluding these 1 or 2 days, broadly that had also settled because it had already depreciated so much, and then at least it looked that the government has some interest in defending the currency at some point. So this FCNR and all the other things, interest, no tax and capital gains on government bonds and all. So bhi 60, 70, 80 billion will come, wo bhi ho gaya tha. Then was the earnings. No, before that you could say oil. In March. So
cool
100 ho gaya tha.
after.
Again now a little bit it is up. But broadly, and price hikes have happened, so there's less room for worry about that. HPCL and all these guys, what will happen? Then what? Then was the earnings. So earnings have turned out very well actually. Actually, yesterday I met one broker, big broker, and he said that for them, excluding IT and excluding oil and gas, they think earnings growth this might be 20%.
But it has been, na? If you look at mid-cap earnings also.
Mid-cap is up more than 20, small caps some 30, and large caps I think 8 or 10.
And if you look at the Nifty mid-cap 100 index also, it's up 20% last 3-4 months.
No, वो तो because April 1 से है. Because March was down a lot.
Correct.
Then,
so recovery
but still
has
broadly
been
I
good.
think it was in the end game. Unless this new round of Middle East things.
But what about this narrative? And it's I know, like, I mean, you know, as you said, right? Narratives follow markets and not the other way around. So this narrative about India being lagging behind, not just in AI, but in R&D spends across the board, right? Whether it's in robotics, deep tech, AI.
So, 2 countries are doing. Let them do. What can we do? We cannot do AI. I can explain. So AI model mein. So AI model mein, these 7-8 guys tried, leave out the Chinese. So even there, 3 of them are not working. Meta ka sab nahi chal raha na, more or less. Grok nahi chal raha. Copilot, broadly nobody is interested. So there where they have spent 40, 50, 20, whatever number of billion, it has not worked. Now in the end, suppose there are 2 models, unless they choose, which is what will happen actually, that they will be experts in different fields, why would you choose the second model? Suppose India makes a LLM model which is 95% as good as the American model. But in the end, if the prices are not very different, why will you choose a 95% wala model? You want to choose the best model? Because everything is online. That's why, I never bought this gaming company we have in India. I never bought the cyber security type companies in India which are online type. Because I said, why would you take for that an Indian game? Why would you play a free foreign game? Because those things, they're not constrained by geography. So model ka bhi, how can you force somebody to use an Indian model?
But cybersecurity, for example, global has become a big thing. Palo Alto, for example, has become
But
huge.
I'm saying, at that time I was talking about, because that time we were not so much, when these companies got listed, I don't want to give names. So they were more for your computer and laptop. And why would you choose a local, if plus minus $5, $10, you can get at that time I thought, we turned out to be right. What I mean is, for these things, there can be no boundaries. Agar uska model acha hai, you will use that model. And therefore, you have to say that my model will be as good.
वो तो होने नहीं वाला है.
बड़ा मुश्किल है, because even there, the 6-7 guys who are trying with the same team of people moving from one company to another are not able to do it in the new company. That's what I mean.